Today we're going to talk about the very strange price action that we have been seeing in Bitcoin over the past few hours, and really since the beginning of October, where we have had this very choppy market that has been getting better headlines, yet the volume really hasn't been there. And there's a lot of walls on both sides of the order book that have been legitimate recently. So you have huge buy walls, I've seen huge sell walls, I've seen it all over the place, and they're legitimate. You know, I talked about in a previous video that there is spoofing where you see sell walls all the way up here, that there is no intention of ever having those filled, as well as down here, where again there's no intention of filling them. But I've actually been seeing very large buy and sell walls where they're actually getting filled. I mean, we're talking 100 to 200 Bitcoin sell walls that I'm actually seeing, say, 50 Bitcoin actually get sold before it moves in one direction or the other. And so what I want to emphasize about this particular market right now is that whales are at play right now. And I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know if they're manipulating prices upward. I don't know what they're doing right now. But I do know that we are seeing some very strange price action, and we're seeing some very strange orders on the order book. If you look at the one-day candles here, you'll see the biggest problem I have with this particular rally, and that is the fact that volume has tapered off to be like less than half of what it was during the initial run-up back in August. And it's not just on this exchange. It's not just GDAX, right? If I pull up Gemini here, this is Crypto Watch, and you can see here that the volume back during the August run-up, let's say we go to the peak here, you can see that it was 23,000 in terms of the volume, and now it's all the way down to 3,000. And what I want to emphasize about this is that when we see such low volume, but a huge leg upward in the market, I mean, we're talking literally Bitcoin has gone up, say, 25% since just this low right here, which, when was this? No, not this one. There's another one that I'm looking for. That was just recently. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that there was different price action on Gemini. This is why I recommend that you put money on both Gemini as well as GDAX, because you have moments like this one. This did not happen on GDAX. If I go to GDAX real quickly here and show you what happened on September 27th, you can see that while Bitcoin did move down to this 3,600 level, it never went down all the way down to 3,300. So some big whale basically sold out of all their Bitcoin, and that got arbitraged away very quickly. However, what I want to emphasize about this right now is if we really look at, like, let's say the 3,600 level or so, we have seen a recovery of roughly 25% in the market right now, yet the volume is pitiful. I mean, it's truly pitiful. And it's not just the US exchanges. If we go to, obviously it's going to be lower in a number of different regions, especially Korea, because they're currently on holiday right now. But let's say we go to Bitfinex, which is based in Hong Kong. You will see there as well that the volume has somewhat tapered off. Yeah, it's roughly, I want to say, like half to a third of what it was back during the run-up in August. And what's interesting about this is that none of this rally has felt real. I mean, it is real. Of course, Bitcoin is at the price it is right now. But it just doesn't, I don't know, does it feel right to you? Does any of this move upward feel like it's hyped? Does any of it feel like it's exciting? Because even though I'm invested in Bitcoin, or rather I'm invested in altcoins, and we're going to be talking about those in a moment here, even though I'm invested in cryptocurrencies right now and they're going up, I don't know, there's just this weird feeling in my stomach right now. Do you get that at all? But anyway, even though I think there's some good headlines and some bullish news happening right now with cryptocurrencies, and I do tend to think that we are moving into ideally a healthier market, I do want to point out that there are some weird things going on with cryptocurrencies at the moment, especially Bitcoin, where we actually are seeing something similar to what we saw in August. And in August, we saw Bitcoin go up and we saw altcoins sell off. As Bitcoin went up, people were investing in it, and they were moving their cash from altcoins into Bitcoin. And we are seeing that trend yet again here, as we are seeing altcoins across the board. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys real quickly here. Hold on one second. All right, here we are on coinmarketcap.com, our old friend. And you can see here that usually we've been seeing all cryptocurrencies move in the same direction. But right now we're seeing a general sell-off in altcoins, right? Overall, there are a couple of different altcoins that are up right now, but for the most part they're down. And what's interesting about this is that what we are seeing is that Bitcoin is going up much faster than the other cryptocurrencies are. So even the ones that are in the green, we are still seeing them go down relative to Bitcoin, right? We're seeing them go down in terms of the Satoshi levels. And what this all means to me, again, it all comes back to what reason do people have to invest in the markets right now? I mean, we know that Goldman Sachs is saying that they're going to launch a trading desk related to Bitcoin. It's unconfirmed at this point. We don't know if they're actually going to do that, but there is talks about that happening. We are seeing more bullish headlines come out of China where it's possible that we're going to see licenses for exchanges. Therefore, the ban on Bitcoin won't be permanent. That's still just rumors, but it might actually happen. We are seeing a ton of different headlines come out basically that suggest the market should be moving into a healthier direction. I think that this is the correct or appropriate price action, but the volume story is telling me something else. It really is. It's just concerning to me. And I think there's a lot of people, again, it all comes back to those hard forks. People are going to invest in Bitcoin so that they get the free Bitcoin Gold, so that they get the free Bitcoin 2x. We're going to make a separate video at some point on this channel talking about Bitcoin Gold because a lot of people are requesting it. But what I want to say right now, in terms from the perspective of an investor, I don't hate investing in Bitcoin before the Bitcoin Gold hard fork. I do think that Bitcoin Gold has some very strong characteristics that resonate with a lot of the community, and I don't think there's this perception that it's trying to completely replace Bitcoin. I don't know if that's going to be what ends up being the case where we see this huge schism in the community of Bitcoin like we're seeing with 2x. But what I expect here is Bitcoin Gold, I think, is going to be a much less controversial hard fork, and I think it's going to go a lot smoother than 2x does. I mean, obviously with 2x there's a ton of controversy right now, and people are spread back and forth with the no 2x movement, and some people think that 2x is the right direction to go. Whatever, right? But it seems like to me, and this is all from the perspective of an investor, someone that's not talking about the merits of the technology or the scaling solution, I want to emphasize here that Bitcoin Gold seems like it's going to be a smoother hard fork, and in a lot of ways it probably will act like the dividend that we saw with Bitcoin Cash. I do not expect the same thing to happen with Bitcoin 2x. I think Bitcoin 2x is going to damage the network, especially because we have no replay protection. I think a lot of people are going to expect it to be free money, so they're going to invest in Bitcoin beforehand. And ultimately what's going to happen is a ton of people are not only just going to sell off Bitcoin 2x the moment that it's made, but people are also going to sell off Bitcoin, in my opinion, once they realize that everybody else did the same damn thing as they did. So I think you can hold through the Bitcoin Gold hard fork on October 25th. I think that's fine. I don't know if I would hold through the Bitcoin 2x hard fork in November. I'm probably not going to do that. I think that there's too much risk to the network, and I think that your investment, okay, we're not even talking about the politics here. I think in terms of your investment, you are taking a much more substantial risk than you were with Bitcoin Cash, that, in my opinion, because it had the replay protection and because it was planned for far ahead of time, in my opinion, it's a different beast. And I'm rambling on a little bit here, but I just want to emphasize, if you're investing in Bitcoin right now, I would be very cautious, because the market right now, the volume is telling a completely different story than the price action does. And when the volume tells a different story than the price action, in technical analysis, that's usually considered a warning sign. It's considered a red flag. But I don't look at it from the perspective of a traditional financial or technical analysis. I just want you to think about it in terms of, what does it really mean the market is saying when there's low volume on moves upward? And I can tell you from watching the order book and watching the markets over the past couple of days, there has been a lot of signs in this particular market that we are seeing, maybe not manipulation, but we are seeing people that want to move out of the market and might be pushing up the price a little bit. I've noticed that we move in burst right now. So if you look at Bitcoin over the past, let's say we go to the 1 hour candles, right? we tend to move in big bursts like this, or we're completely flat. And what I feel like is happening here is the whales are waiting for one side of the order book to get very weak, preferably the ask side of the order book. And when this sell side of the order book starts to get weak, they essentially fill all those orders up to the highest sell wall, right, the nearest sell wall, and then they try to sell a little bit there, and they place a little buy wall below it. Again, it's very interesting here what we are seeing in terms of the price action. I'm not claiming to understand it completely, and yes, there are a ton of bullish headlines that suggest the market should be moving upward, and that would be my natural inclination without watching the markets themselves. However, from watching the markets, there are some signals here that are sort of red flags that I just want to say, if you're invested in Bitcoin at this moment, that now is the time to watch very closely as to the headlines that we see, as to what's happening in terms of the trading action, and in terms of what the sentiment of people is, and really try to gauge where are people at when it comes to these hard forks. Because if we can't decide where people are at because of the hard forks, then you probably shouldn't be investing a ton into Bitcoin unless you feel comfortable. I hope all of that made sense. There was a little bit of rambling going on there, but the market, in my opinion, is interesting right now. I try not to make these rambling types of videos, but because the market is in the conditions it is, I feel that maybe kind of going on like this and being a little bit more upfront with you guys, a little bit less scripted, will help you get an idea of where I'm at mentally right now, and hopefully it will help you understand where you are mentally right now and where your comfort level is with the markets. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the number one rule you should always have with investing is be comfortable. As long as you are comfortable, you will be able to make the right decisions for you and make money in the long term. As usual, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.